Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Week 4 of Coach Rivals. We've got 3 exciting matches for you tonight, pitting coaches versus coaches. We're going to see some exciting matchups, going to see some massive outplays, and hopefully maybe some backdoors. I'm Coach Justin Talbert out of Mobile, Alabama. I'll be your host for tonight, giving you some play-by-play on games 1 and 2. But I do have a special guest for game 1 tonight, hitting us with that color commentary. I've got my fellow coach, Coach Cooper Van Rossum out of Atlanta, and our resident Timo main.
Yes, thank you for the justified invitation to this. Timo always wins, as you all know, and I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to this week. It's kind of like the split for Coach's Rivals Summer Series. It's always good to have a split in your season as we go, so we can kind of compare the first and the last half of the season. But yeah, looking forward to tonight. Looking forward to Poro Rustlers and Wombo Combo Wombats, and then the other matches that are coming down the pike.
Absolutely. All right, so stick with us. We will be right back. Welcome back. As we're getting ready to enter into picks and bans, we do have a good matchup for you here, starting off with Team Poro Rustlers versus Team Wombo Combo Wombats. Poro Rustlers coming in undefeated right now, 2-0. And unfortunately, the Wombo Combo Wombats are still searching for their first win, Cooper.
Yeah, they are 0-3 on the season, but the thing about Poro Rustlers is they are 2-0. That is with a bye week. They had a bye game in that first week. So this will be interesting to see how this matchup proceeds as we get into picks and bans. Oh, looks like we are heading straight into that picks and bans now. We've got a Warwick ban coming from Poro Rustlers,
which we would expect, right? Because Wombo Combo Wombats played Warwick both week 1 and week 3, so expected that.
And that there's the Yumi. Not surprising. Man, Yumi in the support role can really change the tides of a game. And a Darius ban coming out of Poro Rustler. Looking at these teams, these are kind of expected. Oh, Draven from Wombo Combo. Okay.
Yeah, the Yumi ban does, I guess, kind of surprise me. We haven't had a whole lot of time on patch 10.13 to see how those Yumi nerfs are going to affect teams and their willingness to either pick or ban Yumi, but might as well just play safe and go ahead and get rid of that evil cat from the game that everybody wants to play into.
Well, and Nixus, he played Yumi last week, and a Yumi floating around. We've got a Graves pick.
Yeah,
Poro.
Let's see if they lock it in. Right now, right now it's hovering. Yeah.
Okay, you got it. So that is Jungle Main. Graves coming through for Poro Rustlers. Let's see how we get a response from Wombo Combo on this one.
I do expect their bot lane to go ahead and be picked up here. I think they're if they let their bot lane go through to second ban phase, I don't necessarily want to get targeted there. So I would expect to see an Ezreal coming out here in this first pick phase for Wombo Combo.
Yeah, and we've seen that.
I'm sorry. Poro Rustlers. Oh wow, all right, they're flipped. Okay, that's my fault. Yeah. So the Maokai, they actually haven't picked Maokai any of these 3 weeks.
Yeah, and we will kind of pick up on what we've seen in Coach's Rivals picks and bans is that bot lane synergy is usually seems to be picked first, and of course we're willing to be corrected at all times. So
okay,
Amumu comes through with
yes. All right, the Amumu pick. Okay, so the Wombo Combo Wombats like really living up to their team name here with the Amumu pick, the Amumu and the Maokai. I think this is if they're on the hunt for their first win of the season and or the first win of this tournament, and they want to take down this undefeated team. There's really an awesome way to do that, and just picking this full Wombo Combo team, group them all together, and Amumu just bandages in. He Spider-Man's into the whole thing and just
He
locks
does.
one out. There's the edge rule. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, live into your name, right? Just run with it. Some would say live into your name and run it down mid.
Yeah, we do
it. And a jinx rounds us out in that first Wombo Combo 3 pick.
I really thought I would be the only one crazy enough to pick Jinx in this, but
I mean, the attack speed you can build on a Jinx is just it's impressive. I like this Amumu. Amumu for such a small champ can really be a tank with a lot of damage output, and the CC, the combos you can pull off with that Amumu are just really good. Okay, we're not going to see Echo. That's interesting. I didn't have that in my.
Yeah, they must have some scouting that they've seen because here's the thing. I don't even know if they're going to be able to ban out mid lane of Poro Rustlers. I mean, he played Hecarim week 2, and then Annie week 3. If those aren't two like polar opposite mid lane picks, I'm not really sure what is.
Yeah, and he's also really into Pantheon. I mean, it's a wide, not today, but he just has a good pool of champs, and so it is hard to kind of focus on that. And then at that point, you're really just trying to limit synergies and just pick into your own best comps. And we didn't think we'd see a Leona, so that came through. As announcers and commentators, we are right about that.
All right, so now, all right, the good thing here for Wombo Combo Wombats is Veigar made it through the ban phase.
Yeah, that's interesting. We've been talking about that as a team. Is this the league of Veigar? Is he banned or picked? He's probably going to be banned or picked every single game. And we talked about Soraka, a mage support coming through for Wombo Combo, especially with that Leona taken out. But I mean that leaves Veigar in both parties. So that late game Veigar, he can really scale to be a problem.
Nautilus, okay, a good solid support pick, especially into Jinx and Soraka. That is a highly immobile bot lane unless that Jinx gets her passive going. She gets excited, of course. And there's the Annie mid. Yeah, this is wow.
So we saw Annie last week come through for Poro, and the scaling that you can do on a late game Annie is just really impressive. And let's see how Wombo Combo decides to answer. Let's see, I'm thinking, Vel'Koz, okay.
Vel'Koz, wow.
So there you go. That's going to bring us through ban and pick for Poro Rustlers versus Wombo Combo Wombats as we move on to week 4, game 1, Coach Rivals. What do you see in here, Justin?
All right, so definitely Wombo Combo is, as I said, living up to their name. They're definitely want a Wombo Combo here. They've got a ton of AoE damage in the Amumu and the Jinx and the Vel'Koz. What they're probably going to be looking to do is primarily just survive the laning phase, especially with a Jinx and a Soraka in the bot lane. That's going to be a very difficult lane to play into an Ezreal Nautilus. The Soraka is a good pick because it can heal the Jinx from the poke that she's going to be taking from the Ezreal. However, that Nautilus is going to be looking for brush control the entire time in bot lane to get that hook on Jinx or Soraka. Again, we have no dashes on those bot lane champions, so if they can get through laning phase and get to a point where Amumu doesn't get counter jungled hard by the Graves, which I can see Poro Rustlers looking to do that, right? Then they could get to a point where once they get past that laning phase, they get to mid game. Wombo Combo Wombats, they're going to be looking to force objectives. I think they're going to be, if a Drake is up And Poro Rustlers are, even in a position to contest. Wombo Combo Wombats, they might want that. They may just say, hey, look, bring it on. We've got an Amumu here with, we can CC your entire team. I've got Maokai that's going to CC your entire team. And then all we have to do is get one kill. And once we get that one kill, Jinx is going to start popping off. And Vel'Koz surely is going to lay down that true damage. Once that laser hits and his passive starts proccing, a ton of damage coming out of the Wombats for this game. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that.
Yeah, and then with that Soraka, that ultimate that can kind of keep you in that fight a little bit longer if you just need that little bit extra to carry you through. But yeah, and as we've seen in a lot of these Coach Rivals games, objectives. Those Drakes, the souls, they are turning points in these games, and contesting those is going to be key. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see either a lot of setup for that first 5-minute Drake, or some posturing around it, and I think it's going to be exciting. We've got 2 solid comps that have a lot of potential on both sides. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be a good match.
All right. So we're going to kick it back over. We're going to take a little bit of a break, let that spectator delay kick in. We'll be right back with Game 1. All right, thank you for bearing with us during that slight spectator delay, but we are back. We are live here for Poro Rustlers versus the Wombo Combo Wombats. They are just leaving the base now, and let's see what kind of early game action we get going here.
Yeah, we've got a 5-wide start, and we have. Do we have an invade? We might be seeing a blue side or just a nice defensive posturing. Defending against a possible invade, but we're not going to see one. We've got a Mumu mid. We've just got a good red side stance going on here. Looking like blue side's already getting ready for that leash. This will be interesting. So the first 5 minutes are pretty crucial to the game as we gear up for that 5-minute Drake, and that's where I think we might see some scaling attempts in the jungle. We've got a full clear jungle and a Graves who can be really aggressive, and I'm curious to see how they're going to take that approach.
Yeah, they really need to, I think, protect the Amumu early. Is if they can get some forward wards, get some wards on blue side jungle entrances to try to catch that Graves maybe on an invade. I believe Graves early clear. He can clear fairly well because of his kiting, but looks like both junglers are getting bot lane leashes, which is pretty standard. And then we're going to go back to these laning phases and see what develops here. I really want to keep my eyes on this bot lane, though. The success of this team, it looks like, is going to hinge upon the bot lane and the support getting out of laning phase safely.
Yeah, and we saw a defensive ward early from that red side near that top side buff, just to kind of see if anyone comes in early. And we've already seen this Mordekaiser shoving pretty hard, using that Q to kind of get in there and really shove this, and being pretty aggressive.
Yeah, the Maokai is going to have to just concede this farm. Mordekaiser doesn't have those mana resources that to deal with. Maokai does, so it makes laning into a manaless champion extremely miserable, having to manage a resource that your opponent doesn't have. He just has to survive. If Maokai can get through this, he's going to be this massive CC bot late game and be a real threat to the Ezreal, because the Maokai is a good pick. We didn't talk about it a whole lot earlier, but with the Ezreal arcane shifting around and dodging around, there's the hook from the Nautilus here. Jinx does have to burn heal to try to get away from it, and Soraka also burned exhaust. So we actually have 2 summoner spells down for red side, and that was absolutely free. That was all off the back of a Nautilus Q.
Yeah, and those hook engaged champs they can be really punishing, especially in the early game.
Another hook in the bot lane now. Soraka did not burn her flash. She really thought she was going to be able to get out of that one, but that's a huge win here for the Poro Rustler bot lane. Pre 4 minutes, getting that kill early on the Soraka, being able to start shutting down this lane of this Jinx, who's going to scale and be a hyper carry later on.
Yeah, and they're shoving as well. And top side, we almost saw Mordekaiser get a kill off there early, just under tower, and we saw both junglers top side. So with those sums blown bot side, I mean, that is a possible option for Graves in the next 45 seconds or so to make his way down there, especially as Drake is coming up. I mean, that's 2 sums down as you might get ready for that big fight around Drake at 5.
Absolutely. I'm going to apologize to our viewers. I'm actually going to bring the sound up a little bit so to make sure everybody can hear.
Oh, yes.
So you can have a little bit more game audio. Yeah, so I do expect the Graves. He is recalling now. I do expect the Graves, as you said, to start posturing bot side. We have an engage here in the middle with Annie getting her stun off onto the Vel'Koz. But that's not going to be too much of a problem there. Annie did keep summoner spells there. And Vel'Koz is actually running teleport in the mid lane, which is not a bad summoner spell at all. Especially if they want to start grouping for these massive team fights. He wants to teleport in, but it does mean that he doesn't have a lot of kill pressure in that mid lane.
Yeah, he's got some utility and mobility, but it's not necessarily going to allow him to be as much of a threat in the mid lane. Now, what's interesting is Vel'Koz is pushing way up, and I just saw earlier Mumu was kind of setting up some wards down at that Drake pit, so they might be setting up to try and get some prio in these mid and bot lanes as we see that first Drake is up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some moves as Graves is on the bot side of the map, clearing camps, and Mumu is as well. And we might have something building up towards that bot side river.
Yeah, and one thing to look out for now too is Maokai is out of mana, and so if blue side really wanted to force this Drake here and red wanted to contest, Mordekaiser, if he's keeping Maokai in lane here, Mordekaiser can just TP down to join in, and Maokai has no mana. Even if he did TP in, he's pretty much useless.
Let's go look at Drake real quick. I see Graves over there.
Is he sneaking it? We're gonna
hard to tell.
Auto. Pretty sure he is on it. You see his health going down. He is on Drake right now. So Graves sneaking that. He well played there.
Yeah, and over the side of the wall, kind of get in, and we even saw that vision that Wombo combo had set up in the river. But if it's not in the pit itself, you're still not going to be able to see it. And now what we kind of anticipated is Graves is checking out that bot side jungle to see if he can steal any camps as Mumu is top side.
Absolutely. Looking across at the CS though, Maokai is holding on. He has not left lane yet. Mordekaiser was able to shove the wave in and get a roam on mid. Did not burn any summoner spells on the Vel'Koz, but it allowed Maokai to try to stop some of this bleeding a little bit and get some CS back. So this is really close right now. It's very well played by both sides. A CS lead for Vel'Koz in the mid lane, pretty much dead even in the bot lane. As you see, Mordekaiser did go back to lane. He hasn't gone back to base and recall to spin his gold yet. So he is sporting that CS lead because he went back before the Maokai, but we're going to see that kind of shift a little bit as the wave starts pushing into Maokai's turret.
Yeah, all that shoving early on, and Mordekaiser's still up there, maybe trying to get one last good hard shove into that tower as we see them coming back to lane, but he definitely is at an item a disadvantage moving into that. And again, bot side's hard shoving too. I wonder if this is pressure they're trying to set up to get to back as Rift Herald just spawned at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, Graves looking for a gank there too on the Vel'Koz. We didn't see it, but our auto director here they're just doing the job for us. We don't have fancy observers like the LCS, so we're just gonna let the spectate client kind of do its thing.
That's what the mini map is for.
Yeah, that's it. So just take a gander there at your bottom right side of your screen and see all the action that we may not be catching. But Graves was looking for a gank there on Vel'Koz, but Vel'Koz kind of sussed that out and Like, Annie's playing like really aggressive here. So no Summoner's Burn there. One thing that is interesting too, that I'm hoping people will notice is the Predator Keystone on Annie. As we're actually catching a roam here.
Yep.
Wombo Wombats looking to look. The Amumu has 6. It's the go button. Amumu and Vel'Koz both have 6. There's the Maokai ultimate.
Not gonna get out.
More of a zoning ultimate there. Yeah. Didn't want the re-engage after the Vel'Koz ult was blown, but we have a very aggressive lane swap here from the Poro Rustlers.
Wide lane swap. I mean, this is a 5-stack in the top lane.
Yeah.
They're getting sneaked by Ezreal.
All right, there's the Flash Tibbers that almost shreds down the Soraka. Soraka does survive and hangs on to exhaust, so that's actually a really good win for them. Soraka did burn Flash, but it could have been so much worse, especially when you have that mid laner coming in, and Annie did use Predator there too. So the Predator on Annie is such a great keystone for roaming, because she can shove her wave in and then pop it and then run to a side lane. While all this is going on, though, Cooper, look in the bot lane. Ezreal and Nautilus they're just free firing on this turret.
I was just noticing the exact same thing down there. We've got this insane party going on in the top lane, and everyone's trying to get a pick somewhere to get some of that turret plating, and then we've just got some free farm going down in the bot lane. So tons of action up top, and you can have a strategy, and I mean we've got a lane swap, and maybe that's the strategy here. We're now shoving a wave into that tower, but it is keeping Poro busy. That is for sure.
Yeah, and I do like this. As we have the ultimate come in from Mordekaiser, Jinx has to kite as best she can. She does get Mordekaiser on the trap. She flashes the Q and is able to pick up the kill right before Graves comes in and cleans it up. So that does finish out a 1-for-1. Soraka now has to get out with her life. She does have exhaust, so she should be okay. But what a great demonstration of kiting by that Jinx. Stuck in that Mordekaiser ultimate, kiting around, and just led him right into those traps.
Yeah, and look what that kind of set them up for. We had Graves had to deal with the top lane. He's taking care of this control ward, but Amumu is down in the Rift Herald pit, and Graves is recalling. So that might be a rift, quote unquote free rift for Wombo combo.
Yeah, I liked the move up top with Jinx and Soraka, even though they were leaving Ezreal Nautilus bot side, swapping your ADC and support up top. If they were able to get that kill on the top laner, they could have easily transferred that over into a Rift Herald. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but I believe that was their mindset. Let's stack here. We lost first Drake. Let's stack top. Let's get Rift Herald and make something happen there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out there, but Amumu was still able to get the Rift Herald on the back end of everything.
Yeah, they got a kill out of it. They still lost one, so we're 2-1 in the count there. But they did, they caused a problem, and it had to be answered. And you take those risks as you go, and you see what happens. And now blue team has been able to convert this into another dragon.
Yeah, it looks like the Pro Rustlers, they are content with just flipping the map here and saying, okay, we'll let you have the bottom side, give us top side.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a champion advantage top, and they're gonna throw that rift down, and that's gonna I think that's gonna even up the plate count against top and bot towers on either side.
Yeah.
And then we have 4 plates in mid, so.
And we have a TP coming in here. Is that Annie was able to come in and just blow up that Soraka. Didn't have a chance, but a great combo there. Synergy between the Jinx and the Vel'Koz. They're going to pick up this kill, too, also on the Mordekaiser. So a 2-for-1 there in favor of Poro Rustlers. That's great. The Jinx is rolling with a 2-1-1 scoreline. Tied in CS with the Ezreal. However, that extra kill, that extra assist is going to feel really great on that hyper carry.
Yeah, I mean, that evens up our count, and we're going to go tower for tower most likely. Oh, we're about to... Can they get out of there? The other thing that was really nice to note was the skill shots. The Vel'Koz that is not the easiest shot to get to eliminate that Mordekaiser, but that combo with Jinx just barely getting that shot in. I mean, that was great. And like you said, they are content with this strategy. It looks like though that Poro has answered it by having the same strategy bot lane. So it's almost a race to see who can shove from the top or the bot side in. I mean, it's exciting. It's a speed game at this point. See here, we've got Graves and the bot side River, possibly camping out to see if they can get a gank off of Vel'Koz, as Vel'Koz is going to recall.
Yeah,
so it looks like they're going to be resetting now.
Yeah, I think there's so much action. I was actually kind of hoping for like a base race scenario where we were going to have red side charging down top lane, a blue team charging down bot lane, and just like, okay, bro, who's gonna play chicken? Who's gonna flinch first? But they didn't. So now we kind of go back to normal, right? We've actually got both top laners back in the top lane. We've got our junglers are back farming, and mid lane is back to normal. Just looking across now, this is still a really close game. You have about a 2,000 gold difference in favor of blue side, and that a lot of that is coming off of that one extra kill they have. They do have the 2 Drakes, but as we have an engage here on the Vel'Koz, and that is barely picked up by that Graves ultimate, and it almost looked like he predicted the flash off of Vel'Koz to get it with the tip of that Graves R. That was perfect.
Yeah, and as we move past to our, I guess the new beginning of this game where we've reset back to the beginning positions, and now as we're hitting the 15-minute mark, those picks are going to be so crucial. Positioning and planning is going to be really important so that we don't see someone getting picked off to turn a fight just like that. I mean, Graves taking that kill is really good. Vel'Koz being out of lane, that could lead to a problem as we move forward. And you saw they got some good tower damage off of that too. So
yeah, the Annie is going to be a real problem here. Ezreal does a lot of damage, but Ezreal has to weave a lot of his damage is coming from his W and proccing that. It's a lot of burst damage for him. As we have an ult here in the top lane from the Mordekaiser, so we have 1v1 in the Death Realm. Maokai survives. He was in range of his tower, so good on the Maokai playing that well. But the Annie is going to be an issue. The Annie can delete the Vel'Koz, the Jinx, or the Soraka.
Oh yeah, and if you drop Tibbers, you've got the CC punch as well, and then you bring technically a 6th champion to the battlefield.
Right.
But yeah, that, like you said, if you're close to tower and you go to the realm, just head towards your tower, because the tower will still pick up Mordekaiser as he's trying to hit you. It's a safe escape if you can't get get out.
If you have a wall nearby, flash the wall too.
Yeah, that's a great way to get away.
If he doesn't have flash, just follow you. But we do have some pings dropping down on the dragon now. Red side is coming through and clearing vision. They're actually setting up. Looks like trying to cheese blue side, trying to catch him checking everything. Maybe they can get something here. Vel'Koz over the wall hits his combo. And that is fantastic. Jinx is going to pick up that kill there. And now with 2 players down for the Poro Rustlers, Wombo combo Wombats are looking to get their first Drake of the game.
Yeah, that was a great play. And we talked about that before when we were just analyzing this team of we got another fight going on.
We've got Mordekaiser TPing in, and everybody's piling in here for this fight. Poro Rustlers are not scared. 2 of us may be dead, but they're piling in. But Jinx has now been untouched. She's now free firing on the Annie. She's going to turn her attention over to the Ezreal, who's just standing still. Ezreal's able to pick one up, and the zap from Jinx trades it. What a great trade. What a great fight there from both teams. Ezreal poking in as much damage as he could. Jinx got rolling, and Ezreal just standing straight in front of Jinx says, come on, let's trade. And those to cap both of those kills off with skill shots. They both killed each other with a skill shot, and both landed was great.
And a Retribution Nautilus flash hook to try and
that be careful with the Vel'Koz over the corner.
Overextending a little bit. just a little bit. That was pretty exciting. That was a double engaged Drake fight. I kind of thought they were gonna just concede that Drake and maybe move off to another objective, but it looked like they thought they could. Poor Rustlers thought they could still get in there and sneak that Drake. But that was a great fight, and Wombo combo really was able to make that turn. And as we had talked about, the CC chains and the potential that Wombo combo has to make that Wombo combo. It really showed itself in that contest down there. And Amumu showed up just the right time as they were hanging out in that bot side bush, waiting for the sneak, and they had everyone there just in time.
Yeah, and the best part about that whole thing, it also gave me the opportunity to use the team fight HUD. I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity, and there it went. As Annie unfortunately missed Tibbers there, so Soraka really dodged a bullet there. That could have been really bad as we're fighting over this second Rift Herald with Mordekaiser activating the Death Realm. Jinx again free firing here on the Nautilus, picks out. She's getting excited. She's going to charge in to try to answer this Graves who's trying to take. Amumu's trying to get away. Predator has been activated by Annie. She's looking to rejoin the fight. Amumu's just trying to get out of there. Graves dashes over the wall. Mordekaiser is incessant. He is going to chase that mummy down, and he is a lot more sadder than he was to begin with.
The sad mummy is very sad. There was a blast cone right there. But I've been there before in the moment. You're just thinking, run.
We are still fighting here as a trade of mid laners. But again, Jinx excited. I would say that as long as Jinx can dodge Ezreal skill shots, she would have the advantage in that fight, as long as she has her passive going with that high attack speed. But in the midst of all of that, Graves did get the Rift Herald.
Okay, thank you for clarifying, because I was trying to figure out where Rift went.
Yeah.
And this was also, if you noticed, 20 minutes in, I mean, that is a edge of the timer Rift engage. I mean, they got it right before Baron was coming back in.
That was nuts. This is, I mean, the gold lead is even smaller now than it was when we were talking, 5 or 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I've been watching that gold lead, and the kill variance has been even, but as we look down this line and we go back to our CS, I wonder if that's going to start paying. So we've got Vel'Koz is out CSing Annie in the mid lane, and will that pay off? Will those gold leads pay off as we go? We'll just have to see. I know that's a classic announcer thing to say, but it's hard to gauge with how much action there's been in this game, and how both teams are not afraid to get into a fight and then fight again right after.
Look at the trap
here we
set.
go.
Vel'Koz has nowhere to go. That is so sad. That feels so bad for the Vel'Koz, because the Vel'Koz is out farming the Annie now. He had a huge CS lead for the Vel'Koz, and he had more assists, so there was more gold on the Vel'Koz. But there's not a whole lot you can do when Annie gets the jump on you.
Yeah, and you're going through your jungle, you're thinking you're doing the right thing, you're pathing, you're trying to find some wards or get some vision, and then you get found, and it just goes like that. We've got a Rift Herald dropped bot side. Let's see what that's going to do.
We go. So that is another tower there for Poro Rustlers. They're going to continue to push this bot side in, escort that Rift Herald up, get a second charge off on that inhib turret, and they're going to back off now. Maybe look to collapse mid, where Jinx and Soraka are looking pretty vulnerable.
Yeah, this Mordekaiser's getting pretty low. Been very aggressive all game. Took some tower shots earlier as a little bit of an overextend. But that's a level up, but still, half health is nothing to shy away from, and now we're seeing a recall. Get back to base and get back in. But the CS lead up top is starting to scale. So we'll see. We've got another. This is the game of camping.
Yeah, we got the fourth Drake spawning now. Blue side did come in. Wombo combo Wombats. I'm sorry, Poro Rustlers came in and did clear out all vision. They own vision now on the dragon. So the good play here, Amumu is leading the charge to kind of tank that Annie, but Edra ult tags about 3 of them.
They're still
Nautilus
there.
goes down, so here we have the Wombats do have strength in numbers here. With 1 down on Poro Rustlers, they may be looking to start another fight here because we do have the Vel'Koz ultimate, we have the Jinx ult, and the Soraka ult is available as well.
Yeah, and they're rotating. It looks like they're going to try and take this, this numbers advantage and see if they can, I guess, probably try and sneak.
Yeah.
Not much of a
Well,
sneak at this point. I mean, you should see it coming.
Yeah, they know it's coming. I mean, we can look at vision. They see them there for sure. But this is what the Wombats want to do. They want to bring their entire team in and say, come fight us. So they can turn and use their ults. I do think that one was a little optimistic. It could have worked. Maybe they were trying to catch Poro Rustlers off guard because they didn't have the Amumu ult ready. They really need that Amumu ult to make this comp really work because the Maokai ult being so slow, it is easily avoidable, and you can actually have someone tank the Maokai ult if all of your champions stand in a straight line. Like behind each other.
Right.
Yeah, it just tags the first one. But Vel'Koz a little overextended here, but a great E to knock everybody up and get out of there. What a fantastic play there from Vel'Koz to get away from that 4-man gank.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, that's just a good use of sums and just getting out and being able to read when it's time to run. Kind of like they did with the Baron. I mean, they read that, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be taking this right now.
They did. I think that is the downside of the Annie running Predator is once he sees the Predator icon over his head, he's like, okay, yeah, time to go.
See you
I'm
later.
out of here. So for any future potential Vel'Koz players, if anybody's seeing that, this combo here is so deadly. If you hit them with your E, once they're knocked up, you drop your Q and W, you auto proc your passive, and then your ultimate does true damage across it. If you can hit that knockup, it's not as point and click as the Annie, but it does really stupid damage.
So you're saying we'll be seeing a lot of Vel'Koz bans and coach rivals in the coming weeks?
Think you'll see Vel'Koz, Veigar, and really we should. MF wasn't picked this game. Was MF banned this game?
No.
I think this is one of the first games that hasn't featured a Misfortune.
Yeah, she's either banned or picked. It seems like in the most games. We go another fight
another
down
ult
in mid lane.
here. Amumu does blow his ult to get out of that. So drop that stun, stop attacking me, bro. I'm out of here. But that's a trade of ults there. The Annie ulted, and then Amumu ulted. So this is their go button, I would say, for the Wombats is. Now that Amumu ult is down, now they have to play passive. Now they have to manage their waves. They do have to get vision on Baron as we have trading in the top lane still. And this game is the epitome of top lane being an island.
Yep, they've been up there the whole time. Mordekaiser's been shoving in, and we've just seen the defense against that this whole time, and it's just a back and forth. But I haven't really other than the beginning of this game where we saw the 5 wide top lane assault. There hasn't been a lot of action up there in the top lane.
Yeah, the game ends and neither one of them are going to know what happened. It's just like,
Kidding.
we kind of reset here. Mordekaiser is resetting. We have the mid lane reset, bot lane. So both teams are actually content right now to just kind of handshake and say, okay, it's fine. We want to wait for our cooldowns, and Annie wants to as well. Annie's going to be looking to get a pick on one of these carries. And Wombats need to make sure that they're leading the charge with either the Maokai, who does have the Spirit Visage, so the Annie's not going to hurt him as much, and Amumu has the Abyssal Mask, so he does have some MR as well. So as long as they're tanking the Annie, cheese brushes that she's trying to do, then the Wombats have a chance here. Amumu ult is up. Annie ult is up. We're about to see a fight.
Oh yeah, and this is a Soul Drake, so I mean this is huge. We've also got 2 towers. Bot side tower is super low. I mean there's a lot at stake with this one. This is gearing up to be I mean, Assault, there's a TP coming
Here
in.
comes the TP. Yeah, this is it. This is the Wombats get to use their entire power of their comp right here. As the Annie is looking, unfortunately, that's exactly what the Wombats want to do. Unfortunately, now they're chasing the Annie, so Poro Rustlers are able to start the Drake. Annie doing her job here, just leading them on this grand chase. And unfortunately, the Wombats lost sight of the objective there. But, you know, the Ocean Drake is not the end of the world. The Ocean Soul is not the end of the world here. I mean, because of how much damage they have. Yeah, so now they're just going to overpound. They beat them on the rotation mid.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, there's more than one objective in League of Legends. And as we can see, rotating into the next one is just as important.
Wombats being pincered here by Poro. So Nautilus goes in. Annie has already used Tibber, so Annie does not have her full combo here yet as Jinx is free firing. We have 2 dead now for Poro Rustlers as the Wombats have only lost their Amumu. They could look to be, they need to push something here or back, because in the meantime, Mordekaiser's been in the bot lane this entire time, picking up more towers as Ezreal picks up 2 kills here. And he's just going to keep chasing this down. Yeah, with the Soraka low, she can't give efficient healing. This is going to be a quadra here.
There it is.
For the Ezreal. As Mordekaiser gets to just bash that hammer on that inhib.
Yeah, and that, you know, you see you lose an objective, you move to the next objective, you try to make a play. And I think we saw that with Wombo combo. They said, hey, we're on their side of the map. They have Drake. They have to get through us to get back to base. And they went for that tower. And you got to take those risks. But as we know, it's never over until it's actually over. So we'll see how they answer this.
Yeah, this looks to be a free Drake. Or, I'm sorry, a free Baron, though, with the Amumu dead.
Yeah.
Vel'Koz looking to get a consolation prize here, I think. Because unfortunately, they are losing that huge objective on the other side of the map. But if they can kill him here, that's 1 less Poro Rustler with Baron buff.
Yeah, and we still have, you know, that bot side tower is very low. And they're on inhib turret in the mid lane. If they can shove out some of these waves and apply pressure in other areas, they'll have to make
look at Jinx go. Look at Jinx go.
Poro respond.
That's going to be a kill on the Graves, but it's also going to be a kill on the Soraka. She's got to get this and get out because Annie's going to collapse.
Yeah, and she's going to...
There it is, yeah.
Have the escape.
Unfortunately, the Jinx wasn't able to get the kill on the Graves fast enough in order to get, you know, proc her passive, get the resets, and then start diving in on the Annie.
Yep, and we've got Maokai in the bot side lane trying to, you know, make sure that those super minions aren't causing too much of a problem and possibly shove that wave out to take that turret and move some pressure elsewhere as we see this Baron buff coming down, and we'll see what they do with that buff.
Yeah, I'm with you. You mentioned a minute ago that this game is definitely not over. You can see the gold discrepancy. It's sitting at about 6,000. However, when you have a team that is all built around, you know, this Wombo combo, you can get the perfect engage, and you can blow up the Ezreal, the Annie, and the Graves all at once. You're probably not going to blow up the Mordekaiser nor the Nautilus, but with those 3 carries down, caught in an Amumu ult, a Vel'Koz ultimate, and then the Jinx, you know, free firing, who Jinx has Infinity Edge, Hurricane, and Last Whisper now. So she's got the armor penetration. And rapid fire cannon,
the speed at which she can just take you out. I mean, if you overextend just a little bit and we get some CC on somebody, they're not going to last very long. We've got a defensive mid lane tower going on here. As we see Poro having to be pushed off in that mid lane. and we'll see a Soraka reset, and Graves is now free farming in that bot side jungle. And let's see, any timers coming up? Nothing coming up too threatening right now, as we see those those Baron buff cannons doing work on that tower in the mid lane.
Yeah, the good news here for Wombats though is Pro Rustlers didn't actually get much off of the Baron buff. Normally, Baron buff, you're really looking to get an inhib. They got the inhib off of the Wombats being split trying to contest Baron. So, right. or at least contest a fight. So, the Drake there. So, Mordekaiser being able to get that inhib before Baron went down. So, yes, they got the inhib, but on the plus side for Wombats, they were actually able to defend this Baron push really, really well.
Yeah, and that's the thing about those buffs. You really have to have a plan, and you have to be able to find a wave and move it down. And, even with that inhib down, I mean that applies a huge threat where you're babysitting that lane. And the fear is that they could move that Baron buff over to that in a really hard push, or they could use it as a threat on the other side of the map. That someone has to answer that eventually. And as we see that wave is starting to move its way into the Wombo combo base with this super minion, and someone's gonna have to answer it.
But Elder is
Elder.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is the downside of having that bot lane inhib gone. Is, as you said, always having to have somebody tend to that lane. It's very difficult for you to get out of the base to contest any objectives. So Jinx looking to steal it though with the rocket. Ezreal just casually tanking that. Yeah. All right, we have a collapse here. This is a smart play from the Wombats. Go ahead and pick up a kill while you can, while the rest of the team is on the other side of the map.
If they can get it, I mean, that Mordekaiser is just forever. I mean, that removes Mordekaiser, a super tank, as we saw with an Elder buff. It can be problematic.
Yeah, now Annie has Elder buff. And so this is actually, it's so dangerous for them to fight right now. Wombo combo Wombats want to fight. They don't have really any sort of split push threat. They want to fight, but it's so difficult to fight into Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it is so hard. You've got that little line that says this is actually where your health is, and it's significantly different than it was, a minute ago. And you have to reset your brain sometimes. You think I'm level 15, I'm level 16, I've got a lot of sustain, and you kind of have to realize that that's not the case anymore with the Elder buff. I mean, they'll just delete you if you get past that. What is it, the 20% mark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just everybody lost 20% of their health.
In the meantime, we did have bot lane inhib respawn for the Wombats, and Baron is going to be spawning soon. So Wombats are actually getting a little bit of a reprieve right now. They're getting some breathing room. There is about an 8,000 gold difference, but again, it only takes one really solid team fight. Though. Yep.
I mean, it's almost 100 CS. I mean, they have the same record essentially for no more assists on Jinx. But the other thing, they get a lot from that Elder buff.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate circumstance for them, but here we have the start of the fight. One champion is already down. Mordekaiser is down. Annie is down. Wombo combo Wombats are winning this team fight right now. Right now, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Wombats. Nautilus ult goes down. Graves ult is down. Unfortunately, there's the Elder buff coming through, assassinating the Soraka with that Q off from the Ezreal. And we actually had a strong defense there from the Wombats.
Yeah, I mean, considering what they had against them with that Elder buff, I think that might have been the only elimination from Elder. I might be wrong, but if you only get one out of an Elder, I mean, that's a really strong defense against that Elder buff. I mean, it's easy to see entire aces, just an ace after an Elder.
Right.
But that's a strong defense. And Amumu is up. Yep. I mean,
Annie just spawned. Soraka's still dead, but yeah, Poro Rustlers are feeling content to go ahead and start this up and just challenge the Wombats to meet them at Baron Pit. But they do end up backing off. Mordekaiser TP's in. If I were Poro Rustlers here, I would just commit to that split push again. It worked. Wombats want to fight. They want to group. They're gonna want to meet you at Baron. Let them come meet you, and let the Mordekaiser get that bot lane inhib again, or even push that top wave out and get top tower and inhib.
Well, and that's the thing about with that one turret down already, you have no wall between that inhib. So if you can get down there and hard push that into inhib, then you can go and maybe try and take a Baron with a whole lot more safety.
Doesn't look like there is any vision on Baron for the Wombats. They have no clues other than that Nautilus there that's running defense. So they do pick up Baron, but Wombats pick up a kill there. So the Baron buff doesn't give a lot of combat stats. So the Wombats could look to fight. They would much rather fight, I believe, a Baron buff team than an Elder buff team.
Yeah, I think that's true. If you can shove these waves out and then you can move that pressure somewhere, then that can stall out that buff a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean with the Baron buff, you can really hard push these lanes. And of course, if you get in a fight with a wave of minions, they're adding to that damage. But yeah, I think you'd rather see a Baron buff than an Elder for sure. But they have about 75% left on this mid turret. We've seen a lot of action in the mid lane, trying to break that wall down, that turret. And looks like Mordekaiser's listening in on this 3-minute delay. He's going for the split push.
Yeah, and as we get later and later into the game, that gold lead becomes less and less significant. We see a roughly an 8,000 gold lead for Poro Rustlers, but with Jinx is full build. I mean, she's got everything. She actually just sold her boots to get Bloodthirster. So this Jinx is all in on the damage. Completely all in. Vel'Koz does have to be careful here, though. But this is Jinx realizing they've got to go for the Hail Mary here. You see them grouping up. That's exactly what they want. But in the meantime, Mordekaiser is committing to that split. This is exactly what they needed to do. Wombo wants to fight, and they're looking for this fight right now as they're losing their base.
I think they're hoping that maybe they can get a good fight, a deletion of 3 champions, and that will force Graves and Mordekaiser to back.
Right.
And but at what cost? That's possibly
they stop the recall of Maokai. We do have a couple flashes. Ezreal's going to sit here and keep tagging them with that Iceborne Gauntlet. Maokai's not going anywhere.
Strong.
And he picks up that kill. Bot lane inhib and top inhib is down.
And now we're seeing Jinx getting chased out.
Burns heal for that
the
movement
wrong
speed.
direction.
That's an unfortunate summoner spell to lose, but it does save her life. So look for her to recall here to try and help defend. They won't have the Maokai for the upcoming fight, but they could still make do. They can still do it with the Amumu, the Vel'Koz, and the Jinx. They're going to have to.
If they can turtle, and they can put up a strong defense, and it looks like Mordekaiser was able to get that other turret down. Didn't notice that earlier. But if they can put up we've seen fights go where an ace in either direction ends a game.
Right.
And sometimes you get a little too confident as you've got all these waves pushing in. You overstep, you take a risk, and one good CC comp, one good CC engage and follow up, and everyone's gone, and you're blinking, trying to watch that 55-second countdown timer as you just see them running down mid.
Yeah, we have Elder Drake up again. This is the second Elder Drake of the game.
Yeah, and we've got Nautilus peeling off. Looks like putting some vision just in case there's a sneak. And Mordekaiser running down mid. And we've got possible 4-on-2 engage here in the bot lane.
Nautilus ult burn. The Maokai's not going anywhere.
Still putting up that fight. I mean, they are they are not letting this. They're not letting them into their base easy by any means.
The true
There's
damage.
nobody
All right, there's the
walking in the door.
Amumu ult, so that's an unfortunate cooldown that's gone early. The Vel'Koz ult comes out, shreds the back line, but does not pick anybody up from the Poro Rustlers as the Wombats are holding on to dear life here. Soraka goes down to the Elder buff from Annie. Vel'Koz does get up getting the trade onto Annie, but those towers are going down. The Fountain of the Nexus is wide open. Graves and Nahus not chasing kills, bro. We're just going to hammer that Nexus down. And that is a win for the Poro Rustlers.
It was a hard-fought battle too. I mean, you look at it took a second Elder, 2 Barons before they could finally knock down the door on Wombo combo. Wombats. That was a well-fought match and a strong defense for sure.
Yeah, definitely a lot of promise there shown from the Wombats there. I know they've had a very difficult start to this tournament, going 0-3, now unfortunately finishing 0-4 through the first 4 weeks. However, that team comp that they showed there can be like really, really effective. And the way that they were playing it, they actually were, I mean, they were playing it correctly. Unfortunately, they got really far behind, and Poro Rustlers were able to commit to the split push and really make things happen there. So it did put the Wombats kind of on that back foot. So it forced them to kind of chase for those team fights that they really wanted to get. And once that bot inhib went down from the Mordekaiser, that it drew them so much pressure away from those big group team fights that they weren't able to find that perfect engage that they were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the power of the split push. You know, someone's drawing that either they draw people away or they just get an objective. I think they were, like you said, that comp was really strong, and there were just a couple catch out moments that we saw that just took someone out of lane for a little too long, so they could apply pressure somewhere else. And but I mean, great rotations. That rotation after that Drake loss, where they said, you know what, we lost Drake, but we're going for this mid turret. I think that was a bold move. You know, there should be some respect for that for sure, because basically they said, well, we're going to get something out of this, and so they went for it. And you got to take those risks. And you know, it was a good match, lots of action, high intensity. I mean, that was a lane swap at like minute 9.
Yeah, like, and these are the coaches. These are the coaches
Yeah,
for
these are
the
the
high
coaches.
school teams. So, like, imagine like all of these strategies coming in to help these teenagers who are, you know, maybe new to the game, and just all those skills are kind of being, you know, put down, or, you know, kind of passed down to them rather. So, all right, we're gonna take a brief break. Because that game went so long, though, we're going to be hopping straight into the draft pick and ban for game 2. So stick around. We will be right